Hey folks, this is Kalani. We have some more information about patch 9.1.5, including some of the content changes that we're going to see in the new patch. For anyone who is hoping for more character customization and creation options, you're going to be very excited indeed. We also have some updates to combat all of that annoying seller spam. There's a new way to get legendary effects in Shadowlands, and Korthite crystals just became way more common. Let's jump right in. First up this week, we have some more information about patch 9.1.5. We had some hints of this patch coming our way, but we didn't really know what could be included. Well, a recent blue post shed some light on that exact problem. Yesterday, we announced that after hearing the passionate feedback around our decision to not add additional customization options until after Shadowlands, we've decided to implement more options sooner. The upcoming 9.1.5 update will introduce new character customization options for two allied races that didn't get as much attention as the rest, the Nightborn and Lightforged Draenei. You can look forward to new hairstyles, hair colours, facial hair, skin colours, accessories, horns, tail length, tattoos, and more. So for anyone who was super sad that certain races, those two in particular, didn't receive quite as many shiny new additions to their character customization screen, you have something to look forward to in this new patch for sure. But that's not all of the new customization options planned. There's also going to be ear size options for Void Elves, some new travel forms for the Druids, new soul shapes for Night Fae characters to collect, including critter forms like squirrels, as well as an option to soul shape into any of your collected appearances at random. Those could be really cool additions for the Night Fae Covenant for sure, and then there will also be some new toys planned for patch 9.1.5 as well. That's still not everything though, because the dev team came back very shortly after that blue post and added something else. After hearing how excited all of you were around the new customization options, we saw that many of your comments were requesting more natural hair colours for Void Elves. We relayed this feedback to the team and they were able to add 5 natural hair colour options for Void Elves to the 9.1.5 update. So if you really wanted to play a Blood Elf or a High Elf on the Alliance side and the closest you could get was a Void Elf, but you really hated the whole hair deal they have going on, that might be something to watch out for in patch 9.1.5. They also included a little snippet at the very bottom of the post that said character customization will continue to be expanded upon in the future, with our sights set on High Mountain Tauren next. So this isn't going to be another one and done deal by the sounds of things. They're actually going to be working on new customization options as the expansion unfolds, which is kind of what we expected when they announced that they couldn't quite get every race updated before the launch of Shadowlands. What's most interesting to me is that this entire post and the whole idea of more and new customization options actually goes directly against what the dev team announced at BlizzConline back in February. They literally said they had no more customization options planned for the Shadowlands expansion, that it would not be a top priority for any of the future patches, and we would most likely have to wait until whatever expansion comes next for the rest of the races to receive some updates. That was a huge disappointment to a lot of players because it was quite unbalanced when you looked at which races received updates and which didn't. Some got almost nothing, so to anyone who was playing those left behind races, they were told to wait potentially 2 years to see anything new. That was bonkers to me. The new customization options were some of the most hyped up factors of the Shadowlands expansion, and it seems like something relatively easy to continually work on as future patches release. Having just a few extra customization options would be way better than none, and I guess the dev team finally agree with that. So if you were hoping for some new ways to create and customize your characters, patch 9.1.5 is shaping up to be a very interesting patch, and we have barely any information about it right now, so I can't wait to see what else lies in store. The other fantastic thing that we got from this blue post is an actual confirmation of patch 9.1.5. Up until now we hadn't seen an official source, just a bit of data mining and our typical guesstimations and assumptions, so it's nice to have official word that 9.1.5 will in fact be coming our way sometime in the near future, and most importantly that the dev team will be making all kinds of changes with the patch. Customization options weren't supposed to be a thing at all for the rest of Shadowlands, so to see one of the earlier 0.5 patches do a 180 on that particular topic is really exciting in my opinion. The addition of the Void Elf natural hair colours was also apparently due to the popular request after the initial 9.15 customization updates were announced, which means two things. First, the dev team might actually be listening right now, which is cause for celebration by itself, but they actually replied with a plan of action just days afterwards. We didn't have to wait a month for a reply back that maybe something sort of could be looked into. They responded within a few days and confirmed that yes, this is actually something they can do. It makes me hopeful for the rest of the patch and for patch 9.2, which will no doubt include plenty of changes to various Shadowlands systems. That's the kind of stuff that will need major testing and feedback, and if the ball really gets rolling here, the end of Shadowlands could actually turn out okay. But that's all we have for patch 9.15 so far this week. I am sure we'll find out a lot more about it as the weeks go by though, so stay tuned. The PTR will probably appear sometime in the near future too, to give us some real hands-on experience with the patch. There's also been a little bit of progress towards reducing the spam in the looking for group system. Characters must now be level 60 to list group finder groups for Mythic Plus dungeons or Shadowlands raids. That might seem like a small change, but it could have some lasting effects. Previously, characters had to be level 50 to create a listing in the group finder, which was incredibly easy to do for bots and spammers alike, because they could just create a new account, buy a level 50 boost, and go straight to spamming the group finder. With the level restriction raised up to 60, it won't be quite as quick or easy. They would now have to level those characters as well. It's not a permanent fix, it's not even really a punishment for those pesky listings, but it is an increased investment into any account used solely for spamming, which might be enough to reduce the numbers of listings that you see which are clearly in violation of the group finder's rules. Bear in mind, this apparently only applies to the Shadowlands Raid and Mythic Plus sections of the Group Finder tool, so the rest of the categories might get spammed more now, but at least it won't be under what most people are probably looking through. I'm glad some small measures are being taken because the LFG spam has gotten pretty ridiculous lately. I just hope more is done in the future to combat this kind of spam, especially in the Group Finder, because this alone probably won't do all that much. In addition to this change, apparently there's been an undocumented hotfix that also now makes it so that you need to be level 10 before you can talk in trade chat, which is an interesting change. This should make it so that new accounts with level 1 characters can't be used in a similar fashion to spam all day every day about various boosting services and circumvent the spam filters or chat bans. So if you see less trade chat spam going forward, that's probably why. We also have another way to pick up some of those pesky legendary powers that might have been eluding you until now. The Chronicle of Lost Memories allows you to unlock a random legendary power that you haven't yet obtained. So if you need to kill Sire Denathrius, for example, for the legendary effect that you want, but you either can't get a group together or you can't fell the mighty Eternal One, well, you can use the Chronicle item to get that legendary effect instead, assuming it's the only one left for you to collect. The legendary effect is chosen at random from all of the effects you haven't yet obtained, so it's definitely not the most ideal way to go about collecting legendary effects, but it might be exactly what you're looking for. Previously, this was only available from a Covenant vendor, but now they can also be purchased from the Archivist's Codex vendor for 2,000 catalogued research. You'll also need to be tier 3 or above with the Archivist's Codex to purchase this item, so as long as you have some spare research and you're partway through that rep grind, this is another item you might want to consider spending your catalogued research on. It should be quite handy for any alts that you're starting to play, especially if you don't need any of those Korthite armament gear upgrades. Another change that came through for Korthite content this week, it seems like Korthite crystals are now less rare than they used to be. A recent blue post did mention that Korthite crystal rewards from the More Assault box, the Korthite weekly box, and the Broker daily quests would all be increased, but I've seen reports of Korthite crystals popping up in other areas more frequently as well, including from rare drops and from treasure chests. This might just be coincidental, but the rewards in the blue post are for sure intended. So if you are farming Korthite crystals to upgrade your legendary gear, or maybe to sell them for gold, you should expect to collect quite a few more in your Korthia adventures now. That will make legendary upgrading significantly faster, and probably cheaper. If more Korthite crystals enter the market, the price should drop, which will make legendary crafting, legendary upgrading, and legendary base items cheaper overall. Now if you are relying on Korthite crystals for gold farming, the increased drop rate should offset the lower prices in general, so I wouldn't expect to see you lose too much value in the Korthite farm when all is said and done. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about in this week's video is empowered conduit slots. If you've been keeping up with the renown grind, you may have noticed that this week's rewards included your very first empowered conduit slot. That sounds very exciting and important, doesn't it? Well, the reality might disappoint you a bit. The only reason I wanted to talk about this in this video is because the game doesn't really explain what this new feature does, and I've seen quite a few players get a little confused. An empowered conduit slot increases the item level of the conduit you have socketed in that row or slot by 26. So if you have an item level 226 conduit in the empowered slot, it will actually give you the effects of an item level 252 conduit. It's just a juiced up version of the same conduit, so expect a couple more percentage points on whatever your best conduits do. I know, super exciting, right? I kind of hope the dev team tries to move away from having so many different interlocking systems as the expansion progresses. Conduits as a whole leave a lot to be desired, and the new empowered conduit slots really don't add anything. They're just a filler reward for the renown grind right now, and if you look at the rest of the rewards on offer as we progress up to level 80 renown, which is going to be the new max renown for this patch, there isn't really anything to get excited for or about. I personally probably won't keep up with the weekly renown grind, and I'll just passively get there from the renown catch-up system. It just doesn't seem worth any extra effort or thought, but hopefully that changes in a future patch, or they just don't increase renown levels in future patches. That would work well too. But that's it for the WoW news this week, and that's it for this video. What do you think of patch 9.15 introducing new customization features? Do you think the dev team should continually add new customization as the expansion continues, or should they wait until a new expansion rolls around? What else would you like to see in this new patch? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and to everyone who's subscribed on Twitch. You can see the names floating by on screen. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss another video. Thanks for watching, folks. Good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.